All right, so we are going to be drilling or digging this corner up. We got pipes that are hot water and cold water to our water heater, and our two geothermal pipes. They come through here somewhere. They come through here. They go somewhere into this wall to go over to the garage slab. So we are going to dig this corner up. We are going to run 1.5 inches all the way back and install flush ports right here, because this system has no flush ports, and we're going to tee in those 1-inch lines to go to the water heater wherever those lie. So let's get digging, see what we find, and get this water heater back in shape. Okay, there we go. Got our dirt out, and so we've got our cold water line feeding the water heater. This is the hot water feeding the house, and that's your hot water return, and then those are culprits. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut those about right here. We're going to tee into those. We're going to run 1.5 inches back that way, and then 2-inch up top, so we can just hook into them and flush it anytime we need. All systems need this. Apparently they've watched the last guy stay here for like 4 or 5 hours just trying to get it operational, and he had to come back like every couple days to burp it, just simply because we don't have any flush ports. So we're gonna continue to the next part, and that is drilling through that wall. Well, 4 hours in, we keep on hitting the rebar, destroying $50 diamond bits. Not fun, but we're almost through this wall. So old Trusty couldn't quite make the cut, so called in a favor from a friend and picked up this bad boy. It's a really nice hammer drill. We're gonna see if that works. Well, this drill is whooping butt. Pays to have the right tool. Put this glove back on here, but this thing just chews through this wall. We got about 3 inches into the wall yesterday on 2 holes before we hit rebar, and I mean, we just chewed through bits. We're gonna make that same progress in about 10 seconds here. Now the quarter remove has 2 inches, same amount of progress as all day yesterday. Just get the right tools. And thank you, Dragon Air, for helping a brother out. Okay, so we've got the pipes ran, penetrated the concrete. What's next is our tie-in point. So we've got to identify what is going in and out on that side at the water heater part. Then once we've identified that, we're going to label that with some proper tape, and then we're going to tee 2-inch flush ports into here, and they're going to go this way. Then they're going to remain 1.5 inches that way, and then we're going to reduce down to 1 inch on the other side of the tee to come into those. So we'll have 1 inch making a short run around to this corner, into that wall, and into the water heater room. And we'll have 1.5 inches going all the way back that 120 foot back to where all of the headers are at. And then we'll go to that just have 2 little 2-inch threaded male adapters in here with ball valves. It's going to be a tight fit getting the ball valves and the elbows in there, but we can definitely make it happen. So let's get started and we'll keep you updated as it goes. Alright, so I have laid out how it's going to be installed, making sure that I have every fitting I need before I start cutting into pipe. We're going to get this manifold built and attached to the new one before we ever drain the loop and shut off the customer's environment control. So we've got everything we need, a lot of couplings in here. When you're doing socket fusion like this, I mean, you have to when you're in close quarters like this. I'm going to trim these. What I do is I put it in the box first, and we're going to see how much we need to trim off of these and shorten them up in order for both of them to fit in there. I've taken those measurements and I'm going to trim them up real quick. And what we're first going to do is we're going to build that 2-inch ball valve L that's sticking up, and then we're going to move it out here and see how much more we need to trim off to tee in to those two right there. So let's get started with that. That's our next step, but this is a very crucial step. You never ever want to start getting into this, all getting your tool heated up and all that before you've made sure you have everything. This is poly fusion is very unforgiving. Once it's in there, it's in there. You're not getting it out. You're cutting out a fitting. Mess this up, that's a very expensive ball valve. Very expensive. You screw that up, you're done. So just make sure you have everything you need. You're taking it bit by bit, and you're not in a rush to get things done. Nothing good comes from being in a rush. So let's get on to that step, and I'll update you once I get those two all fused together and in place, and we'll go into the next step. All right, that's it. They're sticking out the back here. As you can see, we're penetrated, so all this part needs is we'll dump some gravel in there, kind of level these out, take as much strain, kind of put them exactly where we want. So there we go. We'll just level this whole box out with gravel, fill it all the sides with a good layer of gravel under there, and we're done with this part. After that, that's where our tees go. So we'll just need a couple fittings here and there, and we'll get on that. This one's going to be the more challenging one because obviously we have to work in the hole now, and well, as you can see, not a lot of play. So we'll figure that out. We might have to dig a little bit more, but yeah, stay tuned. Thank you. Well, now that everything's set in its gravel, we got those bad boys sticking in there. It's level, flush with the earth. You probably saw this before I did, but there's just too much going on here. So I've decided to change plans, which is okay. It's okay to change plans. It's just not okay to not make a plan. We're just gonna 90 into these and bury it. We're gonna go just on the other side of that wall where those go in, and we're gonna tee back there, just to kind of get rid of some clutter in this area. There's just way too much going on, and I don't feel like digging another 3 feet this way and 2 foot down. So that's simple enough, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. Nothing wrong at all. So let's get on it. Okay, we got those installed. We're gonna go to the back end, and we're going to tie in those tees on the inside where there's a lot more space, and the pipe's cleaner anyways, make it a lot easier. So we need to identify which pipe is going in and which pipe is going out before we, you know, fuse them together. That'll keep us from having to flip that pump assembly if we're wrong. How we're going to do that is actually the same way we discovered this issue. We're going to use this thermal camera, and I'm going to set it up here. As you can see, those two pipes, you can see one's warmer, and you can see the hot water lines. They're good and hot. But essentially what we're going to do is I'm going to take a video of this in thermal, and we're going to turn it on, or to open up the valve on the inside, and we're literally going to see it immediately get cold, and that'll the first one to get cold is our in. All right, we're going to label that with a green, so you can see a nice good picture there, and we're just going to hit record. Oh, switch it to video, and boom. Okay, so we're back in here. All we have to do is open up this valve, and it'll allow that water that's being moved by the other systems to be forced backwards back into themselves through that. And so we should be seeing cold on that thermal any second now. Let's go check it out on the thermal.
So what we're going to see here is the pipe on the right is actually going to get warmer first. That's due to the hot water that's leaving the water heater. It's still being heated just through proximity. That water heater still has hot water flowing through it, so it's going to pick up heat, and it's going to be forced out first. And once we see that, we pretty much know. I'm going to go ahead and put it in, turn it on just to double confirm that as well. We'll see that.
All right. Well, I had to turn on that water heater to get that water moving through there faster, and as you can see, they're both already blue. It definitely, I'll probably cut that, and so you can see on the side in fast mode, but the right one definitely got cold faster. But since the equipment's running, that means that one is going back in. So right, the pipe here on the right is going into the crawl space to the earth loop, supposed to be, and the one on the left is coming from the earth loop, but they're actually reversed down there, and we'll see that again. But as you can see, that went from nice warm water to just cold. Okay, it's definitely the one on, it's definitely going into the water heater, out the water heater, but this side right here is hooked into the same side that is on the discharge side of the unit for everything else. So you have nothing but cold water coming in and even colder water coming out. That even colder water is then going to go over to the other units, get even colder, and then turn right back around to get even colder this way. So it's just a big loop of just freezing this water.
Of eternity. Because naling, there is no beginning. There is no end. Because it's a circle. That's kind of nice. It's not like a...
While this water heater running, because they reversed these. So yeah, we'll go into there and see that some more. But now we know which one is which on the water heater, so we know to reverse on the other end of the house. Well, we're down into the crawl hole.
That's what she said.
That's where all of our work's gonna be. I've got my 1.5 inch already ran. I don't know if you can see that, but it's there. Now that we've got all of our systems shut down, we're gonna have to drain it. And well, there's only one way to do that. There is no exterior drains. There is no drain valves. There's nothing, no access to it anywhere outside. So, well, unfortunately, when there's stupid people in the world, you have to do stupid things. It's gonna get wet in here, but luckily, it's a nice little low area in here, and we're gonna be working way over there. So that's why I'm doing it here, just so I don't have to work in the wet. Well, this is about as much water we're gonna get out of it. I got it raised up a little bit here off the ground. Move these pipes out of the way here. Oh, okay. Time to get wet. We're just gonna cut these tees out, replace them with 2-inch tees and adapt them down to 1.5 inch. Make that first cut. We're gonna get wet, but all the water that could come out did come out. Time to go for this. Yeehaw! And lift that up. There we go. Mitigate that water. Oh, yeah. This is gonna get nasty. Let's do the other one. One. Two. Great. 4. I can count. Okay. Nah, I can't even read. Who am I kidding? All right. Now the fun begins. Now we gotta heat up that tool to 500 degrees and melt on wet pipe. Fun, fun, fun. Let's see how many leaks we end up with. Well, we're here. We got our 2 T's put in. We've used plenty of couplings. See, they reduced down from 2-inch to 1.5 inch, and they go back in. So we're all done here. Now we're going to go to the other end of the house and connect those 1-inchers T into the 1.5 inch. Basically the same thing we did here, except way over there. Let's go. All right. So we made it to the other end. I've gotten everything over here. So you can see that's what I was talking about. We just come through the wall right here. We're just going to tee these in right here, have them stand up. I'm going to keep those 90s in, and then I'm just going to 90 up and into this other fitting. Make it nice and simple. But And we'll also reduce a coupling in there because I'll just 90 and then stick it into the bottom of those, and that'll work out real nice. So let's glue a couple of these together. Or glue, fuse them rather. We're not gluing anything. We got some 500-degree glue. Yeah, we'll just, all right, we'll do a little, oh, dang. We'll do a little tutorial here, best as I can. Kind of give you a little show of how this is done. Stick that in there. Get your hand nice and close to this 500-degree piece of metal. And we're gonna force that coupling onto that cone. It takes a lot of squeeze. And you just hold it there. Everyone's kind of got their own way. What temperature you set it at kind of depends on how thick your pipe is and how cold it is, how warm it is, how long you leave it there. Kind of is the same thing, but I like to just do it by feel. It's the most consistent way you can really do it. Because I mean, 500 degrees, that's if you trust the TC inside of this thing. So we're just gonna, oh, see how it kind of like is moving? Oh, there you go. That's how you know she's ready and not smoking too bad so we didn't get it too hot. Then you squeeze it together. Oh, just like that. Now, you are supposed to use a cold ring here. The reason I don't really find it necessary in these particular fittings because this plastic is a much harder plastic than this pipe typically is. And so I've pretty much found that you really don't need, it just adds an extra step. Yeah, it might push this down in here a little bit more, but we got plenty in there and that's not gonna leak. And if it does, I'll fix it, so. But yeah, we just keep doing this. Go on to the next one, we'll do one more. We can keep on, but just put all these combos together. It takes a lot of time, and you don't want to just mess with it immediately either. That glue or the pipe does take a minute to cure, and it's kind of funny though, is you'd think that it would get hot like right here. It actually doesn't get hot right here at these seams until it starts cooling down. All that heat starts going through this plastic, and it does get really hot. Ugh. Ooh, danced it. Same day. Mm-hmm. It's always wanting to push against you right now, so you can't see it, but there's heat blasting my palm. It trying to escape that little hole. And very carefully, I mean, you just want to touch this and pull on this, but I promise you, you don't want to touch this in any way. Get that in there and squish. Then you got to hold it there under tension or else it'll just pop right out. Oh, yeah. And that's how you get the big guns. Yeah. Yeah, the big swole. Get swole. All right, let's see that. All right, that'll stay. But as you can see, it'll still kind of flex. So you just want to be very careful about it in the state. Just put it down. Go to the other one. We'll get this started. Once I get these combos put together, I'll cut the pipe and I'll show you what it looks like after it's done. All right. Well, that's that. See, we got those ran going into the green. Don't know how we got so lucky with this one. This all went pretty good together. A little tight corner here, but that'll win. We're gonna go hook up our flush cart, pressurize the system, see how many leaks we got. Let me know in the comments how many you think I got. It's probably more than 10. All right. Number 2. So, oh, there's the old go-getter. And that's our pump setup. I made my own little filter stick here. It's got a cute little pressure gauge. Tell me when it's getting a little plug. Basically, you can just use lateral line, but I didn't want to buy a whole 10-foot stick of lateral line when I'm only going to use maybe 24 inches. Maybe. I don't know. So I just drilled a bunch of 1-inch holes into a 4-inch pipe that I had plenty of. But yeah, we're at the leak check part. So I've got this all labeled. This is our earth water. This is our process water. So the way this is, it's discharged into the earth water, and it comes back out from the process side. And if we want to clean deep loop, we can always reverse that. It's always better to go shut a ball valve off as to not strain any check valves, but you know, check valves are a piece of equipment, so you should use it. It should be usable. But yeah, we're gonna fill this bad boy up. Once all of them are full of water, essentially you just fire it up and you just keep that bucket full. If the filter gets plugged up, change it. When you stop seeing bubbles, shut those valves off down there and you're ready to rock. Do some geothermal heating and cooling. And that's what's up. There we go. Full of water. It's filling. Might need to get a smaller pressure gauge. I have no idea what this little baby can push out all the way through the loop, giving all that pressure drop. We'll find out. Wow. You know what that is? That's a sign of no leaks. Because that'd be spraying. Now it's time to go look down below. Check that out. Dry. No leaks here. Oh yeah. I like that. No leaks. All right, one more area to check. Let's get over there. And nothing. Wow. No leaks. That's pretty cool. I like having no leaks. A lot less work. Well, I guess let's just clean up and watch this baby purge, and then we'll be out of here. And that concludes this portion of it. We still have some other things to do here, but this was the part that was making it to where they had to remove a unit. Pump further talking to them. Apparently they told them that the earth below them here in Dallas, Texas was just too cold. And that's why their heat never worked. It was just too cold below them. They needed to run their AC more. Of course, then they were having problems with their AC. But yeah, this fixes everything. They now have a fully functional water heater, not a chiller, and fully functioning geo units. And maybe in the future we can take that train out and put in a water furnace. We'll see. Thank you guys.
So this is a little bit more of that flush. I did this before I went and looked for leaks, but this is a little bit so you can see a little closer how dirty this water is, how aerated it was. That micro bubbler absorber was not doing anything, but it was a much more dirty. On the next video, I'll give you a little bit more footage on how dirty it was. There's going to be a part 3 for sure. There's going to be an upstairs event where we're going to redo the piping up there and relocate the condensing section of it and hang it from the ceiling and put a drip pan over it. Other than that, this project was just mainly focused on getting these flush ports so that we could openly service it when needed and get all that air out. I'd say we did a pretty good job, but stay tuned for part 3. It's going to be more or less just regular HVAC. There's going to be some, geothermal in there, talking over some parts and pieces and see what they had done to try to get this lady heating and cooling unsuccessfully. But yeah, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. There's a lot more disastrous geothermals in Dallas than this, so maybe hit the notification button and you'll get to have more fun with us. Thank you.